I think a lot of times there's a certain expectation on Black men that they have to be rough, loud up, tough and strong. Mask your feelings. Don't share. You got men don't cry. Don't cry. I don't cry. Seriously, it's true. Don't cry. Don't show vulnerability. Protect your family. Provide for your family. Yeah. Make a whole lot of money. Don't be coming home with bullshit money. Buy me nice things. So it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's definitely the vulnerable bit for them too, for us to offer a safe space so they feel, to your point, when they come home and they have a hard day at work, that they feel like they can actually share it with. So if we're not providing that space where they be like, yo, I had a fucked up day.
Yeah.
If they just come home like, chances are some of them may not be so used to sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, and then, or they may be like, I can't even bring this to her because she all on me,
I'm like, we met with the same thing.
Right. What about my day?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, but because that, so sometimes you have to park it and be like, okay, let's revisit this later.
Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Auntie's podcast. I am Joe.
I'm Key.
And I'm Jay. And we like to keep it real, raw,
and relatable
while sharing our opinions
and experiences
and feelings.
Yeah. What's everybody doing?
Everybody is doing splendid.
Good. What's some fun activities you ladies have been getting into lately?
Work, home, work.
That doesn't sound like fun to me.
That's been my life for the past few weeks.
Okay. All right. I did have an opportunity to step away and go to Puerto Rico.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I always like going to Puerto Rico. It's just a vibe. Food is amazing. It's just a nice little vibe, keep it cool.
Yeah. I mean, earlier in the year, you guys know I went away, but I've been kind of like hanging locally, which has been good. But listen, I still feel like I'm new to the area, so I still say I'm new, even though I'm really, I guess not technically, but I feel new because I'm learning new things, right? So.
Okay, I like the way you put with that.
So I got to enjoy the Jazz Fest up here in Hartford, which was amazing. It's pretty chill with my boo thing. We had everything spread out on the lawn and whatnot. And then, so I got invited out to line dancing. Is huge. It's a big thing.
You was doing where them fans at? You had your fan, but
I didn't have my fan.
Oh.
But
you can't go nowhere without a fan.
Yeah, you gotta walk around with your band. You don't walk around with it. Did you see they had the night market in New Haven? And at the end of the night, they was out there doing the damn thing. But anyways, I see that on social media. I didn't go. It was on social media. But I went to this line dancing thing. Listen, they got some real, like, little sexy one. Yes, they can move it real smooth and shit. It was fun. It was good to get out there and see what the happenings is. So that helped a little bit. Yeah. So even though I'm not so new to the area, I'm learning new things. So
good.
Nice.
That's nice. Good for you, girl. Shoo. That's right. I love it. Okay. Well, Miss JoJo.
Yeah.
What we talking about today, honey?
Are we as Black queens making our Black kings feel safe?
Okay. So what does it... And I'm going to ask this question, and clearly we do not have a man to answer, but what do you think?
Let me sip my wine. Go ahead. I'm sorry, just joking. Go ahead.
What do you think feeling safe means to a Black man? And it's interesting because it's interesting that we don't have a man here so that we can share our perspectives of what that truly means. What do you think it means to make a Black man feel safe?
For him to be able to open up mentally, emotionally to his significant other and not feel judged when he expresses how he feels.
So emotional safety.
Yes. And loyalty. That's what they look for.
Okay.
But this is where I struggle because...
Wait. Don't want him to struggle.
Go ahead.
I was going to let you answer the question first. I do want to hear where you struggle with it, but I want you to...
Well, I'm going to say let her go ahead and do her struggle. And the reason why I say that, because I too wanted to have it from a male perspective, and I polled a couple of my male friends. So I will come back with their responses.
Okay.
After, tell me what you struggle with.
Where I struggle with is I'm all for women, even me, allowing a man to be able to express himself and not feel that he cannot trust you, that he cannot be vulnerable with you, but it should also be shared. You can't make him feel safe if he's not going to make you feel safe.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this? So you allow him to, he may have a bad day at work, he comes home. Don't take those frustrations out on me. Let me know that you had a bad day. Let me know that you need a moment. Express to me that they were really feeling me today. So please accept my apology if I've done something or if I do something that makes you feel.
They give you a heads up.
A lot of men do not do that. They just come home, they dump on you, they're very disrespectful with it, and then they expect you to accept it. And then if that happens to you, you're not allowed. To them, you're nagging or you're complaining or, so it just needs to be an even space for both individuals, not just black men. As we go through it a lot more than you do, but they don't see it that way.
You use the word a lot more.
I just think that we as black women go through societal differences or struggles just as much, if not more, as them because we're black women and we're always considered the bottom of the totem pole. Men go through struggles. I'm not suggesting that they don't, but we go through even more because we're always looked upon as less there, even more so than the men are.
I guess maybe a different way to say that is that we have different struggles. Men and women have different struggles. Different things they come home with.
Yeah. And we hold a lot of more weight to us. I understand men have struggles because they're the ones that are supposed to be the providers. They're the ones that's supposed to...
Society says so.
Yeah. But
old ways says so.
Old ways says so. I just have different viewpoints on it. But I do believe that if there's a healthy, strong relationship, it should be even both ways. And you would want your king to be able to come home and put his head on your shoulder, even if he doesn't say anything, just to let you know that he just needs a moment and he needs to be comfortable, being able to be that vulnerable to his woman.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, all right. So I knew that this was like a topic that I probably would struggle with. I mean, in terms of trying to be able to articulate how I think men need to feel safe. I mean, I have some ideas, like to your point, that you to be able to come home and let it all out and feel safe and vulnerable enough to do that and not feel judged. So I said, I'm just going to go out and reach out and send our lifeline out. Okay. So out a lifeline and I posed it as I did a survey of 4 questions. Okay. So the first question was, do you feel emotionally and socially protected by black women in your life? This could be family, friends, partners, and or community. So it wasn't just about their significant other, just in general. And then I had one response that says consistently. He said 3 said yes, and 1 had a caveat to his yes. He said if he's only counting who he values in his life, then yes, he feels safe. Okay, and then I had 2 respond sometimes. So then the second question was, if you don't feel protected, what are the reasons why? Choose all the answers or add your own words. And the choices was, I feel judged or criticized. I don't feel heard or understood. I'm expected to always be strong if I've experienced betrayal or disloyalty. So 1% all of the above. Okay. The other person said, to the women who fit in this category, they don't matter in their life. So if they don't protect them, to hell with them.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And then one person, sometimes all of the above was felt, but not by black women. So they felt this by somebody other than black women. Okay. Another person said, sometimes it feels like unnecessary pressure to put upon them. And when women have to be right most of the time. Okay. Last question was more of an open-ended question. So in your own words, what does protection from black women look like to you? Examples: emotional support, loyalty, public defense, feeling seen, etc. A lot of what you said. So one person responded, consistent support and belief. Another one said protection from black women to them is, as black male, being able to express feelings and insecurities without judgment and or feel emasculated. Another one says to see them for who they are, not who they want them to be. Good, be good with that or bounce. Okay. Women sometimes think that they can fix a man, and let them be who they are with room for growth, not becoming someone that they want them to be. Okay. It says not just for black women, but for all humans to be present and show up every day in their choices and decisions. Think critically, question the norm and what is approved of and compared what is disapproved of. Tear down the veil and remember who and what they are, and return to the source that makes them feel protection from everyone, not just black women. So another one says emotional support, understanding, and standing back or next to them. I guess it's standing by or next to them, and let the man be a man. Yeah. The last question is, what would you like black women to do differently to help you feel more protected or supported? The ability to hear from their heart and be open and vulnerable. Would like to see black women have more patience and be more encouraging to black men, and black men to admit to their faults and work on improving their communication with their woman and trust them with their vulnerabilities. So this man, and then And the person who answered to the C number who they are said same question as number 3, same response as number 3, and just listening to help them be understood. Let's listen to them and be understanding. So I agree with a lot of things they said. I really like the person who responded. The people that don't matter in their life, none of us they don't even care about them.
Yeah.
They don't matter to them because they don't mean anything to them. But the people who do care about them, they do feel that they're getting that protection from them.
Okay.
And I think that's important. You're going to surround your people by people who are feeding you what you need.
Yeah.
So,
and I think this shows a level of maturity.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes one can take an instance of experience and then project that on all women.
Absolutely.
So this is them having the discernment to say, okay, you don't really matter to me. So I really don't care if you support me or not. Hey, get nice, but if you don't, all right, deuces.
Exactly.
So there's a level of maturity there as opposed to just projecting. So I think for me, first of all, I love the fact that you polled folks. And I think for me, a lot of it was, I think a lot of times there's a certain expectation on Black men that they have to be rough, not up, but tough and strong. Mask your feelings. Don't share. You like, men don't cry. Don't cry. I don't cry. Seriously, it's true. Don't cry. Don't show vulnerability. Protect your family. Provide for your family. Yeah. Make a whole lot of money. Don't be coming home with bullshit money. Buy me nice things. So it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's definitely the vulnerable bit for them too, for us to offer a safe space so they feel, to your point, when they come home and they have a hard day at work, that they feel like they can actually share it with. So if we're not providing that space where they be like, yo, I had a fucked up day.
Yeah.
If they just come home like, chances are some of them may not be so used to sharing. So they're like, and then, or they may be like, I can't even bring this to her because she all on me, I'm like, we met with the same thing. Right. What about my day?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, but because that, so sometimes you have to park it and be like, okay, let's revisit this later,
I think there has to be like you could both have bad days, right? And I think the important question to ask on the onset is, how was your day? And then give that person a chance to be, you don't always have to be the person to tell how good or bad your day was. Ask them how good or bad that you can ask that first and then say, well, tell me more, kind of thing. Like, I like the even the response where they owned up to how they need to communicate better to their woman. So I think that helps too, because it's a communication thing at the end of the day. Like, if I don't know how to receive your message or respond to your message or respond to whatever is going on in your head, or if you don't know how to articulate it in a way that I can respond softly and understanding and caring, then it's kind of hard. So
yeah.
So it's funny. I was going through and getting my thoughts together on how I was going to respond to this question today. And I've been having conversations with my friend. So now going through this, I had asked ChatGPT questions that I should ask because we've both been working on communication. So a few of them would say on an emotional check-in, how are you feeling today? Is there anything on your mind that you'd like to share with? Or support needs. What can I do to support you better during challenging times if you ever have them? Like if you know something is going on with him and he's quiet about it, because we're still getting to know each other, I've been trying to find ways to be more supportive because I'm always being told that I don't show any type of, emotions in any way. And he's pointing that out to me. So now I'm going through this and I was looking at the questions and I'm actually going to use this with him. Like I'm going to ask if he wants to go through this exercise and see what his answers are. And I'm going to come back and share this. So it was just funny that you did the same thing, but I'm doing it on a different spec.
So let me ask you a question. Within any of your relationships, you never had those types of check-ins, like the question that you...
Oh yeah, I've had. There was, as I told you, there was only one person that I was ever able to truly open up and him do the same with me. And there was no judgment. Like I was really able to express myself and not have it thrown back at me or used against me. It was a nice safe moment space. And now that I'm in this relationship, I wanna have that. And I'm just, because we have history. I've known him for 37 years. I want to see where this goes. And because we've both been talking about better communication, this would be a good exercise for share one.
Okay. I think part of the issue that Black women have in providing safe spaces, and you alluded to this a little bit earlier, is because a lot of times we've been in survival mode too. So you have Black men that are in survival mode, we're in survival mode, and it's a constant, what about me? Yeah, he's like, what about me?
Right.
And it's like and we're not making room for each other. He's not making room for me. I'm not making room for him. So I think I've said this a million times, it always boils down to communication. But you also have to equally, if I didn't make my husband feel comfortable enough to share an insecurity or share anything, that's on me. I didn't make him feel comfortable enough to share it. We've only got to fit over 30 years. Timing plays a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just getting to know each other something different.
Right.
Because that might be his personality.
Right.
The length of time we've been together, if he don't feel comfortable,
there's something's wrong.
And how am I? Am I publicly doing something? Am I saying something snarky? So I have to make equally both. I have to make him feel safe enough to be like, you know what, and he has to do the same for me as well. So I think a lot of times as Black women, many of us have been conditioned to be strong, be guarded, be independent. I'm one of them. I will admit that, sometimes we're not as nurturing or soft because we watched our mothers or whoever. So we tend to be more,
Yeah.
And I also think it's depend on your upbringing for sure and location.
Yeah.
Like I always say, women up north are very more harder than Southern girls, right? So I think because we've just been nurtured that way. So I think we can flip it by just communicating.
I think it's delivery too. So I know, for me, and it's one of the things that I actually been working on is sometimes my face does not always say what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And so it could come off as, I don't know, not accepting or judgment or whatever have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a poker face, and it's not serving me well. So
I don't either. I'm terrible for it.
And I try to make the person or people understand, I may have made a face, and it's probably sometimes it's either a face out of confusion or it's probably a question I have in my mind. I'm trying to understand and take in what's been said or whatever have you, but my emotional cues are not always great. And it's not really meant to be that way. So one of the things I'm trying to learn is I need to be mindful of who it is I'm talking to, male or female, but this is about me and my male, my guy, that I have to be more mindful in how I express myself non-verbally or just express myself verbally so it doesn't come off as something that's not really what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's I really didn't mean that. I wasn't really thinking that. But you already have your mindset.
Yeah.
That's what my emotional response was, or my non-verbal response was. And now I got to try and convince you that it's not that. But now you already feel some type of way, right? So it's I think those things we have to be mindful of our delivery, our nonverbal cues, all the things that can make them feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And see, the difference with me and you is my nonverbal cues is clearly, he says my eyes tell him everything. He already knows the answer. And 9 times out of 10, he's right because of the eye contact or the look that I gave him. He clearly knows how I'm feeling at that moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the case. He said more oftentimes he's wrong in what he thinks I'm thinking. But it's sometimes it's too late because that's the way that's their feeling, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to make sure that I'm more mindful of that. But I definitely think that we as women and men, Black or non-Black, whatever, because even when a person responded they felt unsafe and it's not coming from a Black woman, it's coming from, I don't know what nationality or whatever. So it's not just Black women making Black men feel unsafe. Sometimes men just do not feel safe with their male counterparts, right? Or family members, because it could be their mothers, it could be their sisters, it could be whomever is not giving them the space to say, I'm glad I sent out the poll to people who I trust and I guess who obviously trust me. But even one person was like, thanks for asking.
Yeah, nice.
Okay? And I think that's one thing. It's just ask, how are you doing today? How are you?
That's a simple thing.
That's a simple thing.
And I think even when you're in relationships, we go through the motions, right? So sometimes you can even went to work for 8 hours, you come home, you get on the phone, or in my case, we're seeing each other. It's be always how you doing? How was your day? We got that.
Those check-ins are important.
How was your day?
Yeah.
And because I think a lot of times as women, we're not taught how to pour into a man emotionally, and equally, he's not taught a lot of that times, unless he's come from a 2-family house, and even then, you still might not see it. Right? And so we just see how to survive next to one.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that. I never want to be in that survival.
Yeah.
You know, I want us to connect,
and I don't want them to feel that way either. I definitely want to feel like I'm a safe space for my partner. I want you to tell me what's on your heart all the time, and know that it's either gonna stick with me, like if it's with me, between us,
right?
And it's okay. You're not gonna always have great days, you know. So it's like I partner before that. Was one of the things. How was your day? It was always a negative response. It was horrible. It was like you don't want to hear that either all the time. You're like, every day can't be that way. It's impossible. Yeah. That's hard to hear from somebody that every day is a bad day. But when you have a partner, you should ask. You want to know how they're feeling.
I've gotten better at doing that. I did notice self-reflection that I didn't ask all the time, how was your day? I mean, we would have conversations coming home, but I never asked the question.
Yeah.
So I've gotten better at trying to do that. And he's even pointed that out. So now every time, even if we are having a bad day, hi baby, how you doing? How was your day? How's your morning go? We try to make sure we talk to each other in the morning, sometime during the afternoon, and then in the evening.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Not there. I think a lot of times, sometimes we can't make space to offer someone else there to be vulnerable when we haven't even checked our own vulnerability. We don't feel safe, or we're not facing our own stuff.
Absolutely.
That's another big thing. It's like a challenge. How can you do that if we haven't even addressed our own? So we're like masking. We're hiding it. So you can't, and there's a lot of us that do that.
Yeah. Because we're okay. We're good. Nothing's wrong.
Really not. But you can't make space for him if you just be like,
And that's the other thing. How could you make space for, like you said, how could you make space for them? How could you make them be vulnerable if you're not vulnerable? You're not even being true to yourself
on what you're feeling about.
Yes.
Also, I gotta flip it. Let's turn it up.
I love it. A little flip.
So there's a little difference between support and self-sacrifice. And what I mean by that is that some women will offer so much support to their man that they lose themselves. So yes, we want to uplift our men.
Yep.
But are we supposed to coddle them, fix them, or mother them? You know my answer already. I don't even have to answer. Because a lot of women
say this to after sick.
Are we supposed to coddle them, fix them, or mother them?
None of them.
But there are women that do that.
None of cheer on. Yeah.
And you're not supposed to. No. They're men. And that goes into one of the men that said, don't try to, fix me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is a line between the emotional safety piece and also losing yourself trying to be his piece. Yeah. Because after a while, if that's all you're doing,
yes,
you become resentful if that's not reflected back to you.
So you just made me think about this thing I seen the other day. So two celebrity, I forget then. Is it Gucci Mane and Keisha whatever? Because she came and she said, all you gotta do is come home. All you gotta do is shower. Yeah. So she does everything. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Mm. Do you think that's a part of that? What you just said?
So I think, because I watched the entire.
I didn't watch it. It was a good shit. I'll see what's really. All I see was that snippets.
Yeah.
So, we know what happens with snippets, so that's why I didn't go beyond that. But
I think that every relationship has a certain dynamic, and I think just based on what I saw in the full interview, she enjoys providing that level of comfort to her man. Now, make no mistake. Yes, he's a provider, but she got her own bank too.
Right.
And so she works, but this is something she enjoys doing. So she was like, I enjoy cooking. We don't need a cook. We don't need an egg.
She just want to keep all their money in their house.
She does want to keep all the money in the house, but equally she says, I enjoy doing it. So yes, just take a shower, make sure you clean, and I got you.
That's different. And you enjoy it when you versus losing yourself.
I don't think she's different for us because she writes,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So it's different. But it's provided that he is providing, and he's also providing a safe space for her. I gotta assume she's not just doing it and he's treating her like shit.
No, he
loves on her. Yes.
Well, we don't know. We're not there. But what I'm saying, like they both bring in money.
Yes,
but this is something that she enjoys doing.
Yeah.
So I think there are plenty of women that love to cook and cater, make sure, like cooking every day. He's got his food. He's got this.
That's something that blows them up.
They enjoy it.
Yeah.
Making sure that you got everything good, whatever you need, baby. And whatever she needs, I don't know what her needs are. He must be fulfilling them. Because otherwise she wouldn't shut you doing it. Yeah, you know. But there are women equally that do everything for their man.
Yeah.
And then there's a level of resentment because they lose themselves. They don't know when he travels off to the side, whatever. They're like, I did everything for him. And they didn't have a life outside of him.
Yeah.
I think there's the difference.
And I think that's just different. She has her. Yeah. So
listen, I think that's another thing. Let's flip it because I like to flip it. Then you get women that like her do things, and then you have the other one. I would be doing that for him. I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Right. You know?
What are you talking about? Like, I'm sure there's things that I may do for my husband that they're like, what you talking about?
Exactly.
Like, if it's clothes, cleaners, I'm just a fanatic. I have these nice hangers that we bought. No more wire hangers. No, got the cleaners. Don't sit down.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I don't want that plastic hanger. Now I don't want that wire hanger.
No, trash. I'll hang up the clothes, or if he takes something off and, you know, he tried it on, he don't want to wear it that day, I'll put it back and hang it on the hanger. You know, there's women that are like, I ain't doing that.
No.
He's more than capable. Yes, he's more than capable. Fine with it. It's like, not a fucking deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker. So on the flip side, also, I seen another thing where this woman says, I love my husband. I'm not making his doctor's appointments. I'm not taking his clothes to the cleaners. She's like, all the things that she's not doing because he's capable. He's not her child. He's her husband.
Yeah.
He's capable of doing all these things.
Yeah.
If she does her things, she takes care of the house, and they're fine.
That works.
Because that's what works for them, right? So to your point, it's like, listen, everybody's makeup of their husband and wife or their relationships is very different. What makes that man feel comfortable and safe with her and vice versa is what makes them feel safe and vice versa. So it's not like to say just because I don't do X, Y, and Z, my man don't feel safe. That's not a part of feeling safe.
No, it's weird. Like, even with doctors, I've made doctor's appointments for him. That to me is not a deal breaker, but it's not like that is for other women. It is.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I don't. We got the same damn primary. Like, even for physical, it's so people might find this weird for physical, and it might go against HIPAA violations. But he was sitting on my primary doctor. Like, there's nothing I'm gonna share. I want them there. I got a bump right here or wherever I'm gonna be. You know, and I sit on it. It's not a.
First of all, I don't want to have to tell you what they said over again anyway. So just sit here and listen. What you mean?
Yeah. We do that. We've been doing that. It don't matter, you know. But I know people are weird with things.
No, you know. I mean, yeah.
You done did everything.
It is what it is.
Me, you know. Because the doctors tell me, "Girl, you got me. What the fuck going on? I got something." No, I'm just joking.
But I think that goes how you make your husband feel cared for. He's the things that you do for him that he appreciates and he loves. Yeah, about you. So
we're gonna do it.
Exactly. It's no biggie. So I'm trying to see if I had another question here.
I do.
But
have you ever been in a relationship where you didn't feel safe emotionally, and how did that impact how you showed up?
So me, I didn't show up. I basically kept quiet.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I wasn't present. I mean, I was physically there, but you mentally, emotionally, I wasn't. It may have appeared that way because I was just doing all the things that needed to be done.
Yeah,
but wasn't present.
Yeah,
same here.
I think people have different relationship styles, and I always, again, not to judge, because I know that the way my husband and I, when we interact, and the level of joking that we have, it can bore. For some women, they'd be like, I'm not going for that. Like, the things that we joke about and how we joke, I know for fat women, because I even notice, like, if we're with other friends or whatever, my day ones with, they'll be like, did she just say that? Or even like, he said to me, like, what? But then they look at my face and they see I'm comfortable with it. It's like the level, that will not fly in certain relationships. Which can, even with my kids, when they looking for partners, because they know how we joke. Yeah. So even then, some men won't be able to handle that. And so they feel a level of confidence and trust and loyalty. We joke around a lot.
Yeah. And I think even that, like, if you know what lines not to cross, that also gives them the security that they need.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Gives you security if you need. Like, I know, okay, we went over here, but he not going over here.
Yeah.
Right? We know where to stop. So
it's just, don't think, that's why you don't know what goes on in the household. Yeah. But again, we both make each other feel safe enough some of the shit be wow. But we could joke around and be like, all right, let's talk about it. Like, okay, yo, that went down.
Don't embarrass your partner. Don't you feel, don't like, I mean, I've been in that. Nobody was saying, yeah. Don't, I
got exposed to it. Even though it didn't work out, I got exposed to that. And now that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This person that I'm with now, as I said, I've known him for 37 years. He was my childhood sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And now as we're older,
We're black, baby.
yes, we're experiencing us as adults. And it's been fun. I'm enjoying it. The joy that him do, nobody else, to your point, could understand that. But we know that we're joking.
Super people.
Even the way I talk to him and sometimes the stuff that he says, I'll be looking at him, yeah, nigga, it's stuff like that. And that's what I want. I want him to be able to feel comfortable being myself and not being judged. And I want him to feel the same.
And that's the thing with one of the things, I guess, in terms of making our men feel safe. I think one of the answers to your question, he said something along the lines that it wasn't just black women. It alluded to other women or something.
Yeah. It said, so the question was, if you don't feel protected, what are the reasons why? Choose all that apply, answering your own words. So it was, I feel judged or criticized. I don't feel heard or understood. I am expected to always be strong. And I have experienced betrayal or disloyalty. And the response was that sometimes all of the above was felt, but not from a black woman.
That's right. So that tells me from another woman, right, outside of a race.
Right.
That's another thing where the whole saying of black women were too opinionated, we're too this, we're too that. Whereas in other cultures, they're more docile.
Yes.
More, is that the right word? That's probably a very strong word I probably should not have said, but they're more
the perception, because I don't know if that's 100% true either, but the perception is
less confrontational.
Less combative, less confrontational. I think somebody said black women don't have enough patience.
We always have to be in survival mode.
I think not. I think humans in general, but I don't feel like some things are culturally. Like some things are culturally where women are expected to be or respond or behave a certain way with their male counterpart.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the case. Like, because everybody talks about the biggest thing to me is the black men dating white women, right?
Yeah, it's a big.
And they talk about how the black men always leave the white woman, and then the black man says because the white woman don't do X, Y, Z, blah blah blah. I don't believe that's 100% true.
It's not.
I don't believe they're not as combative as white women. I think they can be. It depends. It depends on the dynamic of the relationship of the two human beings involved in that relationship. I don't think it's necessarily a black or white thing all the time.
It depends on the person they chose, yes.
I think it's actually the person they chose, exactly.
But maybe culturally, it is a little bit different.
It is.
So there's less of a survival tactic. Unlike that. And if we're going to generalize, which I tend to not want to do.
Yeah.
But if we're going to generalize, there's less of a survival that other cultures are supposed to out.
I think environment and demographics also come into play there.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, if you take a black woman coming from a certain type of demographic, a certain kind of lifestyle or whatever, or say a white woman's, some same demographics, same kind of life experiences, I don't think either one of the women is going to be, let's just say they come from whatever the things that cause women to struggle, whatever it is that contribute to women that living in survival mode, black or white, their responses are going to be the same to me in how they deal with a man.
True.
Because they have the same type of experiences. They're surviving certain things to me. That's how I feel.
But we go through it more than other nationalities.
I think it's just highlighted more. I listen, I'm not going to say that we don't. I'm not going to say that we're on equal footing with other races in certain instances. But I don't think that it's too far-fetched. Like, if you look statistically, if you look at some things, we talk about the women who live in certain areas who maybe, I don't want to say these things, but it's usually these type of characteristics, like public assistance, single-parent household, all those things, right?
Right.
There are other women who go through that's not black that have those same experiences.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like their emotions are not 100% the same, but similar in terms of being in survival mode.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
I do.
I need to process it a little bit to...
It may not be 100%, but it's not too far, to me. I don't think it's too far different. Like, I don't think so. I think if survival mode of a human being of a certain species in nature, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's just my feelings and my opinion.
I feel you. Okay. Any other questions or aside? Okay.
I think the thing, like when I was looking for unpopular opinions, it was more around how the black woman was more that the black woman doesn't feel safe enough to be able to provide a safe space for the black men. And I don't know if that's a myth. I think
this one more time. Sorry.
It wasn't coming from a perspective of the black man feeling unsafe. It was coming from the perspective of the black woman feeling unsafe and not having the capacity to be able to provide the safe space for that.
I think there's a lot of things, unfortunately. I think that mixed with a level of expectations that they have on men. I think that it's a lot of times with the younger generation, we may not be involved in raising both black male and female, raising these men to meet those levels of expectation. And women too, right? So we're raising, like, how are we raising these kids, because the level of expectation that they have, he has a level of expectation, and those expectations in some instances, not all, they just go like this. They just
I made a comment earlier about me struggling with that because I don't have a problem making sure that I'm that person that he can trust and lean on when he's emotionally or mentally drained. But it has to be equal. If you want me to understand you, understand me as well. In order for us to coexist, and if we got kids, as you brought out, for us to be able to do it together. You can't be the one always coming home and me being understanding of you and your feelings and what you're going through and not looking at, I'm struggling too. We need to do this together. It's not just all about you or us being, a safe space for you. I need to feel safe for you as well.
Each person needs to be seen. Everybody's not always okay all the time.
And there's other days that I got 20%. I see these new, one day I may have 20, you got the 80. I need you to be able to pick up my slack and vice versa.
Yeah.
There may be times I'm 100% drained and you may be the same. It has to be a give and take.
Yeah.
Listen, we both come in 100% drained. We just ain't doing nothing. We ain't talking. We ain't saying,
sometimes
you gotta be like, listen, we need to take a beat. We need a minute. That's what I was. That's in that too. You don't have the capacity. I don't have the capacity.
Exactly what we do.
And somebody gonna recover maybe a little bit quicker than the other. Doesn't know. Whoever knows who is gonna be. But at that moment, be like, okay, neither one of us got it today. Don't try to force it because you're gonna make it a bad situation.
That's right. We definitely have that conversation. Like, we ain't in it today. Okay, no problem. You go that way. I'm gonna go this way. We'll meet in the middle there. It's all good, and it's all good. A drink in here, sometimes you be like, here you go, or I go here, and and then we'll meet later and be like, what this motherfucker. But sometimes you just don't have it at that moment. So you just got to take a beat.
Yeah, I think if you know your partner well enough,
yeah,
you'll have those cues. You'll be like, yeah, it could be a look on her face. It could be something that said. It'd be like, he ain't got it today, or she could say she ain't got it today. We both like, we ain't got it today, and that's it. So you just got to know your partner well enough.
We kind of went in a direction different than what I was expecting, but the only thing I was gonna also talk about was the question was, are we supportive of our black men? And I was going to bring up ways for them to be able to do that with having male friends where they have an outlet, not just us supporting them, but them to also have a male support system type thing.
So that's interesting that you bring that up because I think sometimes the older generation, they may not have the level of support than, let's say, women have.
Yes.
Right?
As they've always taught to no emotions, you got to be the supportness around the provider.
And just don't talk about
it. Yes.
You talk about it. So, it's interesting, there's a show called The Shot. I don't know if y'all watch it.
Yeah.
But if you're up to date on it, they have they come together, the men and they actually talk, but just the men by themselves. I love that about our show because they are being vulnerable. They're talking about the girls, their girlfriends, the significant others, the elephant. And here's it, like, how they holding them. Like you said, she said, and the men are.
The men are holding men accountable.
Yeah. And I think if you guys haven't watched the show, like I love the show, but I think that's another part of, it's a great demonstration of how men can come together and really talk about their insecurities, what's bothering them. And sometimes you need to do that with other men. You don't necessarily need to do that with your partner, or maybe you need to do it with them first, and then have that way to set it up better about so you are able to open up to. Or sometimes there's things that you may not want to bring to your partner, but you got to have an outlet.
Or they can help you see your views differently. Yeah, have a different perspective on it. But I still think a lot of men, older generation and even our generation, and some even they still, because of probably their environment and their upbringing,
their condition,
they're conditioned to not do that. They just don't have that outlet. It's like
they'll be judged. Man, you're soft. You're a simp.
And
you're this. You're that.
You got the wrong kind of friends. Then
that's right.
You got the wrong kind of friends.
That's right.
I feel like girlfriends share a lot more than men do. Sometimes they detriment.
Like sometimes
yeah, but you gotta be careful. Like this, you gotta be careful with that too, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's important. I think you have to have an outlet sometime other than your partner, because sometimes you need somebody to understand you from your perspective. Like I need to have a woman's emotion factor in this to understand versus the male. And right, a male needs to have a male emotional factor. Like
he may not be able to resonate because he's not a woman, and you may not be able to get it because you're not a man.
Right.
So that's why. But he needs that. Listen, I'm having a minute.
Yeah.
And speaking, get with your mans and be like, all right,
yeah,
you need to look at it from here. This is it. And also feeling, I just don't know there's enough of what I see on that show. I don't know that there's enough of that. So I have a question for the men that do watch. We do have some men that watch this. You know, do you have that emotionally safety net? Which I'm Lord, as I do have that. You know, do you have an opportunity to talk to your male friends about real shit? You know, real things that go on in your life, and not just work. Maybe even what's going on with your family, whatever things that bother you might not be able to bring to your significant other, or your partner.
Yeah.
At that time, because sometimes you have to sit with your feelings and work it through.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to have that emotional safety net within your own nucleus as within males to have those discussions. And I just wonder if you have that, and what does it feel like?
Yeah.
And even add on to that, I think couples should have it as well.
Yep.
Yeah. You need to have solid couples come together.
Mm-hmm.
Because people go through shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people experience things, and people, if they holding on to that. I mean, if a couple is fighting the fight to stick together and they just don't know how to navigate it, you need to have a good couple partner as well to help you sound the aspect of it. I think I think any type of support group is going to help build you up, not help make shit worse for you, but help build you up.
Yes.
It's good.
If you're coming with the same goal, because like I mentioned before, sometimes you don't know what goes on in other people's house. So to hear their perspective, okay, you're going through this, like something that I may be going through, what Vish and I may be going through, y'all may look at me like, that's so trivial. Like, what are y'all doing? But it may be real big, you know, like, what are you arguing?
But they could tell you that. Why? What?
And they give you a different perspective. Exactly. Usually it's some deeper stuff that's going on. Anyway, I always find when you arguing over the dumb stuff, there's some other issue, you know. But again, to your point, I think people tend to not do that because it's like everybody wants to be perfect, stays in this and want to be perfect to outside, you know. And when we all got stuff going on as a child.
And on that note, be your brother's keeper and your sister's keepers.
Yes.
And your couple's keepers. Let's help keep each other, lifting each other up. Power to the people.
You can that out. That was, we guys have to hear you. Positive people. Listen, Elon could do this.
Don't do that. Cut that shit out.
Now you took it too far. Then I could do this. The hell, absolute.
Okay, you need to leave it in that case.
Don't listen to me. Don't. Till next time. Deuces.